Linda Barcz from the Bruce Company is here. We're taking your calls at 270-9933, and we have two lines open if you want to call and talk to Linda. Hi there.
Hi, Susan.
Boy, you brought a whole garden in today.
Well, I did bring a little woodland wonderland here because
it's beautiful.
Most of these things are shade-loving plants. The one that you're looking at right now, the blue one, that is a Jacob's ladder. We've got a cute little bleeding heart, tiarella, sedge.
And these all are shade-loving
shade
trees.
lovers, yes. But I learned something new today. There is a phlox that I always had called creeping phlox, and this actually is the true creeping phlox, because see how it is a ground cover and then the flowers that spike up?
I love that.
The one that I always called creeping phlox is actually moss phlox.
So the pink one.
The pink one.
So these are shade-loving flowers. I think I said trees. No. Well, let's go ahead and get to the phones because a lot of folks are waiting to talk to you. And we'll start with Bree. Hi, Bree. What's your question?
Hi, I have a question. I have a Barbary bush, and we need to move it. And I'd like to know when the best time to do that would be.
Is it possibly a barberry?
Barbary, yes.
Oh, okay. It does have little spines on it, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
And normally this would have been a wonderful time of year to move it. And it probably still is, but usually you'd like to move them before they leaf out. But this year, everything's in leaf.
Yeah.
Those 80-degree days, but the cooler weather that we're still forecast to have, I would move it and then just make sure that you water.
Okay.
We have been quite dry. The two rains that we've had have really been lifesavers to anything that was planted last year. So if you move it, we don't get rain, water.
Okay. All right. Thank you for calling today. Kim in Baraboo, you're next. Hi there. What's your question?
I've been having a problem with blight with my tomatoes in the past couple of years. What are the causes and the prevention of that?
Oh, good question.
Okay. Well, one of the most important things to do with tomatoes is make sure that you move those to another area in your garden. Don't plant the tomatoes in the very same spot, because no matter how good cleanup you do, and that's one of the critical things, make sure you cut those tomatoes down, and unless you make sure that your compost gets really hot, don't put it in your compost.
That's the prevention part.
That's prevention, and then definitely rotate the crops. So plant your tomatoes in an area where you had, say, your broccoli and Brussels sprouts, things like that. That will help, because if there's any of those fungal spores that are soil-borne, when it rains, it splashes up onto the tomatoes, and then we start the whole cycle all over again.
Now, it's too early to put tomatoes in the ground
Yes,
now.
it is. Yes, I will.
I see all the gardeners were so
know.
eager, but we have to wait a little while.
A month ahead. I mean, if you were to put them outside, you have to make sure that you cover them, because we have a frost warning again.
Oh yeah, that's true. The weather's so unpredictable. Okay, thank you for calling today. Suzanne, you're next. Hi there. What's your question?
Yes, I have a 51-year-old jade plant.
I have to come and do a story on that.
I know, but one of the main large stems, all of a sudden it just fell off. It was very mushy.
Ooh.
There seemed to be some mustard-colored dust on the side, but the inside of that stem was just like mashed potatoes.
Okay, and you hadn't moved the plant, you didn't change your watering pattern, anything like that, huh?
Not really.
All right, because the mush, of course you know that jade is a succulent, so it doesn't need as much water as other houseplants, but if you've had it alive that long, I'm concerned that maybe it's a fungus issue, perhaps, but I guess the only choice you have is to remove all of that and then just be very careful with the watering pattern that you have on the rest of the
What
plant.
about the mushy stem, though? What do you do about that?
Oh, cut that out. Get that.
Yeah.
Remove that, and just try not to wound the other adjacent stems, of course.
Okay, 51 years.
Yeah.
Wow, good for you.
Thank you, but is there a fungicide I can use?
Oh, is there a fungicide?
You know, perhaps what you could do is take a sample up to the UW diagnostic lab, because before I would recommend that, we'd want to know what it was. So you could take a piece of that, call them and ask them what kind of section of the plant they want, because if it just fell over, then it's not all mush, it's just the base.
Okay, and you can always call Linda at the Bruce Company if you
Sure.
need information about that.
Okay.
And finally, Stan on line 4. Hi, Stan, what's your question?
I've got a very old clematis plant, doing just great this year, but I'm starting to get some yellowing on the leaves. This has been happening the last couple of years, but it seems to be a little earlier this year in plant growth. And I've been fertilizing it with just general fertilizer, and I did put on an iron soluble thing
All right.
a couple
Okay.
of weeks
Thank
ago,
you,
but it
Stan.
hasn't helped.
Sorry, Linda, we're a little tight for time.
Yeah,
so
I understand. Well, he's doing the fertilization. I think that, part of what I'm going to see this crazy weather is very bizarre. And if he's doing fertilizing, I don't really have another good recommendation. I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry, Stan. Didn't mean to cut you short, but thank you for your calls today, everybody. We just ran out of time. The time goes by so fast.
Yes.
We'll see you next week.
Okay.